Hi, everybody. Sherry Leopold here, and I'm honored to be here again with another 2023 Woman of Worth Wow Warrior. And today I have the honor and privilege to have Queen Kimmie with an IE. I can't do the high like she does it, but I am going to have her do that, Tyson. I'm so excited for you to be here, Queen Kimmie. I adore you. Congratulations on this award, and you truly are a wow warrior.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Thank you. First of all, giving honor to God, who's the head of my life, and for everyone who's being here today, as I know too much. Okay.
That's right, I know too much. First, I have to actually start with Queen Kimmie with an IE. I want you to say it because it's so fun.
Well, thank you. I, Queen Kimmie with an IE, am honored, and I really am grateful, Sherry, to be and to receive the Wow Warrior Award. It means so much to me that you thought of me, that you reached out to me, and I was like, oh my gosh, and just wow.
See, it's such a great word, and it truly does mean woman of worth. And I always say also, what someone says when a wow warrior walks in the room is just wow. And that is totally true of you, Queen Kimmie. You have such a larger than life presence. And as I think our viewers will get a chance to see, I want to ask you right now, though, what does it mean to you, Queen Kimmie, to be a wow warrior? What does it actually mean to you when you hear the words woman of worth?
When I hear the words woman of worth, Sherry, I'm reminded of a saying that I heard a long time ago when I was in Germany, that there's no such thing as a bad woman. Every woman is an amazing woman. Some just recognize it, and some show up, and some are bold enough to be outspoken enough to speak up for what they soulfully feel like they're here for. And I think that that's what a woman of worth really is. That woman who is just really a boss in her own life. Boss being an acronym, because I am a retired combat veteran and I love acronyms. So as you can see, BOSS, what I stand for, is bold, outspoken, soulful storytellers, because that's what I think that a woman of worth is. A woman who is bold enough to be outspoken enough, to be soulful enough to share her story of what it is that she advocates for.
I love that so much, and I've always loved that BOSS acronym. And that's it's truly what a wow warrior is somebody who is creating her own legacy, living her legacy, and writing her own history as we acknowledge powerful women during Women's History Month. And that's exactly why you're here, because you are a boss and you are helping other women boss up. And I love that. And it absolutely points to why you are one of this year's award winners. So I love that you shared that. Thank you so much. So I do want to ask you, because I think it's pretty obvious that you are that really strong, powerful woman. You very likely had some very strong role models, powerful women, influencers, like women who mentored you. I'd love for you to share with our viewers, who were those, some of your mentors, some of the women who inspired you?
Oh, I love this question. Whenever I get asked this question, used to, when I would get asked this question, I would always start with Marianne Williamson, and then I would quote her poem about fear. But as I get older in life, or as I'm here on this planet longer, I look at my daughters. I have two daughters, Erica and Brooklyn, and I look at them and I see a reflection of myself in them. And I'm reminded of one time I was in Afghanistan, and I called home, and my husband told me a story about my youngest daughter, Brooklyn. He said Brooklyn came in and she said, "Mom, Dad, will you teach me how to ride my bike?" And he said, "Sure, Brooklyn, I will teach you this weekend." Well, he went on and he was doing what he was doing, and he went into the bedroom and he looked downstairs about 4 hours later, and he saw Brooklyn riding her bike. She didn't wait for the weekend to learn how to ride her bike. You know, she went down, she got that bicycle and her friends, and they came together and they learned how to do it. They didn't wait around. If they had the resources and they figured out how to do it, they did it, you know, and I love that about my daughter. So when I'm looking at Brooklyn, I'm like, wow, she has that characteristic that I have that I learned from my mother. When I look at my oldest daughter, Erica, you know, she's so mothering and she's so nurturing. And on her job, my husband and her had the opportunity to work together. And he came home one day and he said, hey, you know, Erica is at this job and she got promoted above everyone who came in at the same time, because he said she's at this job, running this job. She's literally taking over. She's telling everybody what to do and she's doing it. And she's like the number one employee on her job. And so she got promoted to be supervisor, then she got promoted to be manager. And I'm just watching the way she shows up, and I'm watching so much of me, so much of my mom, and so much of what we learn as we grow up, and how we're able to learn from our parents and our mentors, and how it shows up in our daughters. So for me, I love to just watch my daughters and to let them know that even though I see a little bit of me in them, I love that they are growing into their own version of what it is to be a woman of worth in their own right.
Oh, wow, that was powerful, Queen Kimmie. I love that. And what an incredible acknowledgement of, the legacy that's been created and passed down of that really strong, powerful woman, as I say, standing up and standing out as the unrepeatable miracle that you are, and really harnessing that personal power. That is a truly incredible story. And I love the fact that it's being repeated, and in such a good way. So thank you for sharing that, and what an inspiration. So gosh, if we could all have that moment. I feel that way about my daughter as well, so, and for the very same reasons. But so I also want to ask you a little bit, so because we've been talking about such powerful role models and our inspirations, I want you to share a little bit with us. If you had someone that was in your network, or you came across in conversation with a woman and she was questioning her worth, or she was wondering if she was worthy of pursuing something, what wisdom could you share with her? What would you share with her to encourage her?
Mm. I would ask her so many questions. I would ask her so many questions that she would find that at the end of the question, she would be like, okay, Queen Kimmie, I get it. I am enough. I will become the queen of my own life. I literally love to inspire us to become the queen of our own lives, for us to take responsibility and accountability of the story that we tell ourselves. I would literally ask enough questions to make her aware of the story that she tells herself. I've come to a place in my life where I don't tell anybody what to do. I don't try to boss people around just because I'm a boss. I realize that being a boss is really taking accountability and responsibility for the story that you tell yourself and how it plays out in your life. So I would literally start just asking a bunch of questions to make her aware of what it is that she's saying. You know, she'd be like, oh. And, sometimes my friends get so mad. I can remember my soldiers, they come and ask me a question, and I start asking them questions, and they were like, oh, and they knew I would know. They knew I knew the answer, but I'd just be asking questions, because when you can find the answer for yourself, it sticks. You remember the work, you remember the journey, versus if I just give you the answer. That's kind of like, you can teach a person to fish, or you can give them a fish.
I one of my sayings I learned from Joel Weldon is the questions are the answer.
I like that. Okay.
I was like, that's how you do. When you ask enough questions, you'll already have the answer that you're searching for. They'll figure it out themselves. But I also have to tell a funny thing. I always say that, kids have it right when they say, you're not the boss of me. I'm like, they are so right, because I'm the boss of me. And my phrase is always, I'm the boss applesauce. It's a reminder that I decide what I think about me and how I feel. I'm the boss of me. So anyway, that's my preschool training. That's
I
preschool
like
teacher
it.
training.
I'm the boss applesauce.
That's right. So as we're talking about boss, I'd love for you, Queen-Kimmie, just to share a little bit about what you do. You mentioned the boss effect, and I'd like for you to share a little bit about that. And I know you're also one of the co-owners of Legrity Media, which I am graced to have a show or two shows on. So I would love for you to share just a little bit brief intro of what those two things are so that people can understand how you serve, Queen-Kimmie.
Thank you for that, Sherry. I can remember being a little girl, and when I grew up, I had to overcome a lot of things. And the way I overcame those things were by burying my head in books, by burying my head in a story. I love a good story. And as I grew up, I realized that stories not only saved my life, stories also helped to create this imaginary place that I created called Scatterbrain Kingdom. And inside Scatterbrain Kingdom, it was like this place where everybody could come. You would be welcomed, accepted, and loved. And we want to hear your story so that we could understand who you were, so we could understand why you showed up the way you showed up. So when people feel heard and seen, people can start to heal. And when we collectively can come together as a people and start to heal, that's when we're going to be able to grow, not only as an individual, as a family, as a community, as a country, as a nation, as a world. And I just truly believe in my heart of hearts. And I'm grateful for what stories did for me when I was growing up. So as I grew up and I became this great storyteller, and I could hear my aunt saying, Mom, Kim telling stories again, because that was the only thing for me to get over the fact that, hey, I'm coming from a community that's a little underserved and a little underprivileged, but that doesn't mean that I can't have imagination and possibilities of what could be. So as I grew up and I learned the importance of that, I really specialize and focus on helping other people get their stories out. Whether that story is from the page, whether it's from the stage, whether it's from TV, I don't care what it is. I ask you enough questions to help you come up with a game plan to get that story out. I help you to realize that the only story, the only thing in your life, the only fears, excuses, and doubts in your life that are keeping you stuck, stinking, and stagnant are the stories that you tell yourself, the stories that you believe. So for me, I specialize in stories and storytelling. And so that's what my company does. With Boss Effect Podcast, we find people and we put out their stories and we help them get visibility for their stories. With Legrity Media, with the TV shows, we help people to put their stories out on the TV nation. And we have over 195 countries that Legrity Media is in right now. So when you're getting your story together, whether you want to put it out and you want to be on TV, because some of us dream of being like Oprah, and we can show you how to put that, spend like 4 or 5 hours creating one TV show, and then you can take the things from that TV show and you can multi-purpose and cross-promote those things on other platforms to build your network to actually show up and make an impact with your story. So I specialize in stories, how to tell that story, how to put that story out, how to increase visibility for your story. And that story doesn't have to be just for your business. It can be the story in your life, just for you to be able to find that place of healing. So I know that was probably a lot, but I just really want you to understand how important stories are to me. When I joined the military, I was able to hear so many different stories, and just the stories have just, oh my gosh, I get emotional. Stories, stories, stories. So when you think of Queen-Kimmie, I want you to think of somebody who, this lady realized that she was worthy enough to change the story in her life. And so she showed other people how to do the same.
Yes, that's my hashtag, make good choices. I'm like, you have the choice. And one of my other famous sayings is choices create change. When you change your choices change. I know, Mike drop, right? It's like, there you go. That's the story that you tell yourself, absolutely. Oh my gosh. How inspiring, Queen-Kimmie. So
Yeah.
if anyone watching didn't understand why you are a wow warrior for 2023, they just heard it. So wow. And I love the impact that you're having with the Boss Effect. And I'm a big cheerleader for you in that effort. And I love being in that same space with you. Now, I know that you also have a free gift for our our dear watchers here. So I do want to have you share a little bit about what your free gift is for them and how they can grab that.
Awesome. Thank you. So let's talk about this free gift. Queen-Kimmie.com/gift. This is important because we just talked about how important stories are to me, right? So I told you that I collect these stories, and we've interviewed over 152 successful entrepreneurs who have overcome things in their life, and now they're showing up as a boss in their own life. They're getting their story out. Some have a TV show, some have a book, some have their own networks. They're just successful entrepreneurs who are showing up and they are showing out, and they're not only the boss in their lives, they're creating bosses. Because remember, you tell a great leader by the leaders that they leave behind. We're not here to create followers, okay? So we created all of these interviews, and we took the best and we put them together in what we call 10K in 10 days, the game, which is a question we ask our guests on the Boss Effect podcast. So we took the best, we took the top 20, and we compiled them together into a book. And they're sharing 20 ways to make 10K in 10 days if you had to start over with only $100. Now, this is literally a game to inspire you to action. And we're going to give you the free interview series when you go to queenkimmie.com/gift. You will enter your name, you will enter your email, and then on the next page, you will watch a video, which is 3 minutes and 32 seconds. And it'll just be me and my husband telling you the thought process behind why it is that we're giving you the video series. And if you're interested, then you'll sign up, you'll register, and you'll get started. We'll give you a 10-day pass to watch the videos. And mind you, that when you go to our Boss Effect podcast, these videos have never been seen before anywhere. And here right now with Sherry is the first time that I am announcing that these videos are available for you to view. And mind you, our Boss Effect podcast guests are phenomenal. They're amazing.
What a
They're
nice gift.
outstanding.
I love it. Oh my gosh. So we have time for one last question. And so I want to ask you, Queen Kimmie, and for some people it's hard. I don't think it'll be hard at all for you. I think you'll be quick to answer. But 100 years from now, Queen Kimmie, when your earthly body is no longer here and long gone, what is the legacy that you are leaving? What is somebody going to say when they hear the name Queen Kimmie?
One moment, Sherry, because my answer is going to be right here. With everything that I've been doing in this space, from my time in the military, serving in the military, being in Afghanistan, going all over the country, traveling from continent, like literally I am well traveled, okay? And I've met people from all walks of life. And I've been in the coaching space as an executive coach now for 7 years. And I've been in some of the most top-notch and prestigious training that you can think of, okay? And I know that it's about taking action, okay? And so when I'm gone, I want people to say, Queen Kimmie was inspiring, she was motivating, and she inspired me to action. And not only did she write a book, she wrote a book that actually changed lives, and not just a book about her, because I think it's Gary Vee who said, the more you give into the world, the more the world will give back to you. So this book, I don't know if you can see this book in front of me. This book is going to be our legacy. This book is a book that's going to change lives.
Love that. 10K in 10 days. Who doesn't want that?
Okay.
I
And,
love
and as a coach, if you get to consistent 10K in 10 days, and you can show someone else how to get to consistent 10 days in 10 days. And then on the back, it's literally a game. So if you get a group of people together and we say, hey, let's all play this game together for 10 days, imagine how we're going to change communities. Imagine how we're going to change lives. Imagine if a group of teenagers get together and play this game. It is literally only, it's how do you say, it's encouraging you to shift the story that you tell of possibility. It's dropping hints of possibility and hope and inspiration.
And that is an incredible legacy to be building and leaving. And I know you're living that legacy out as we speak. So I want to say one more time, Queen-Kimmie, thank you so much for everything you do, all the good you put into the world, and all you give with your big giant heart. I want to say congratulations, Queen-Kimmie, on being a 2023 Wow Warrior. And I welcome you into the Wow Warrior community.
Thank you so much. I receive with open arms, and I'm looking forward to being an asset to the community.